Welcome back to OpenLine. We know a lot of you are joining us tonight because the phone lines are lit up. So thank you for being with us. We're going to get to a lot of your calls here in this next segment or two. I have Representative Mark Pody, a Republican out of Lebanon, with me, has introduced the Natural Marriage Defense Act. It's making its way through the legislature right now. Also, Abby Rubenfeld, an attorney here locally, an advocate for the LGBT community. And we're talking about this Natural Marriage Defense Act. We've had lots of questions. I want to jump to the calls first because a lot of people have been very patient. So let's go to Maria, I think has been waiting on the line a long time. Maria, we're with you.
Yes, I wanted to say I'm Puerto Rican, Catholic, and Republican. And if the Supreme Court not affect me because I killed somebody and God says you shouldn't kill, why the Supreme Court not affect for me to say I don't want nobody to get married with another guy or another woman because God created us to procreate, not to destroy. And the Supreme Court, if they accept that, they go against God. Because the whole idea of being gay, God loves you when you are gay, but he says you don't. When you marry to the same sex, you know you don't. You commit suicide for the rest of your life. So you're going to make God unhappy to make the gay people happy? That makes no sense for me. Thank you.
All right, Maria, thank you. Obviously, this debate, as you can tell just from Maria, stirs up a lot of passion on both sides. It has for years,
yes,
and I imagine it will continue for years that way.
Yes.
Why are you so? I asked Abby personally what this means to her, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. Why are you so passionate? Because this isn't just going to go through the legislature and then be done. This could be a decade-long battle.
Okay. I will tell you for me, and the words I'm going to say are very, very important here. When I pray to a living God, okay, and I expect Him to answer me. And so I was actually in prayer, and I believe God had shared with me and led me to Ezekiel 3:17. And in Ezekiel 3:17 it says, I'm holding you as a watchman on the wall. That if something is incorrect, I'm supposed to stand up and say it is incorrect. And it goes on to say that if I don't, that my very soul would be accountable. So I took that up as from my Lord, saying that I'm supposed to do that. Now somebody said, I seen it on the news somewhere, said, legislator, hears from God. Well, you know what? That's true, because I do pray, and I do expect to hear from my God. And if that's what I'm doing, because that's what I believe in my heart I was told to do by my God, I'm going to do everything I can to be as forthright and as passionate about it as I can, to say that I think that this is wrong, that we need to stand up, and it's time for citizens across this state and across this nation to declare who they are.
Abby, your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm an American too, and I feel strongly about this issue because I have a right, I have the same rights as anybody else, and simply because someone's religious beliefs are different than mine, I don't see that entitles them to take away my rights as an American citizen. And I think that, I feel like a broken record saying this all the time, but I think religion and the government need to be separate. And I respect deeply held religious beliefs. I admire them. I think that that's, you know, great for somebody, and it's great to give a foundation for children and all that, but we're a country made up of many different cultures and many different religions. Not everyone in this country is Christian. The country wasn't founded as a Christian nation. We're supposed to be a melting pot open to everyone, and we have different religious beliefs, and it's just wrong to think that only the religious beliefs of one set of people, even if they're the majority, should be imposed on everybody else. That's contrary to what our Constitution provides.
You bring up a point that I think is going to lead into our next caller. Bill is on the line. Bill, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am, and this is a very pertinent question.
Okay.
The lady was saying that we shouldn't inflict religious beliefs and religious imperatives upon everybody, but as I understand it, the Muslim religion and the Mormon religion, polygamy is a very important part of both their religion and their culture.
Okay.
And I was wondering how she feels about multiple partners in marriage, and should we accept that? Because I understand that to be unconstitutional as it stands. And if everybody's religious beliefs should be recognized, polygamy should also be recognized. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Bill, for calling in. Abby?
Well, I don't think polygamy is legal or that it has to be recognized. Our government, our system of government, a legislature can pass a law. I mean, all laws make distinctions, classes of people, and treat different people different ways. To be constitutional, it has to be justified. There has to be at least a rational basis. And in the case of polygamy, there is a rational basis. It's oppressive of women. Polygamy is not ever about a woman having a bunch of husbands. In fact, now that there's marriage equality, maybe I'll go have a bunch of wives. But I shouldn't joke about that. I think that polygamy hurts women. You know, a lot of times the guy that is his name Jeffs or Jets that was convicted of that whole polygamy thing, some of his wives were underage.
Yes.
It's abusive of women, so it's damaging to somebody. So there is a governmental interest there, and I think the government can make that kind of a distinction, and it has, and that case hasn't come up, but I don't think that would be upheld. But that's not the same as making a distinction based on someone's sexual orientation, I don't think.
All right. I would agree that I think that we're going to stand on the Constitution that we currently have, and this has been voted on by the people. I'm not trying to tell one religion what they should or shouldn't do, okay? I mean, if there's a church and they're practicing one way, it is not up to the government to come in and say they should or shouldn't practice one certain way. That's up to them. But if they bring that into public policy, then I think it's the public policy, and it's the majority of the people that say this is what we believe, that should be ordained as public policy. And that's why we don't have Sharia law. That's why, you know, we've chosen that this is what we want to do in our given state. And this is going to be a state-by-state basis. You know, there's a couple other things that I know we're getting close to closing out, but there was a couple of things that we had mentioned. I know Abby mentioned that it's a fundamental right. I'm not sure where fundamental right that marriage became in. We've mentioned that the fiscal note, that, you know, just because we don't follow a federal law, that all of a sudden they're going to come in with all of our funds. If that was true, that all the sanctuary cities, all of those would have been withheld. If the states that passed marijuana, okay, that's against the law, that would have all been withheld. And none of the federal funds have been withheld because of something like that. And
There
so
certainly would be a spotlight on Tennessee, though,
there
if
certainly
we did this, because we'd be the first.
Absolutely.
And there's risk with that, and you have to realize that.
And I do, and that's why we're going to have to deal with that fiscal note as we come to the fiscal department and fiscal committee. You know, I've got to find a way to address that fiscal note, and I understand that's going to be up to me to do it. Okay, I'm not asking anybody else to come, but I am saying that who we are has been defined and clearly defined, and even in all the polls that we see in Tennessee, the Vanderbilt poll, the MTSU poll that have been after this, they're still saying the vast majority of people are saying they want to have marriage defined in Tennessee as marriage between a man and a woman. And that's what we're talking about right here. This is just keep what we have, what we passed in 2006.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'd like to hear you both wrap up your thoughts on tonight and going forward, all right?
Okay.
We'll be right back.